Hello there, Bick Benedict here. We're playing Gears of War 2, and this is my insane difficulty guide and walkthrough. We're currently on the second act. It is the Denizens Act, and this is Act 2-1 Scattered from that act. Now, you've got a lot of ground to cover before you get to the first encounter. There is no stamina limit on Gears of War, and the webbing that you're first asked to cut through to get into this fight, because what happens is Carmine gets overrun by enemies, and it's just him versus the enemies, and then you've got to cut through some vines. If you don't want to use your chainsaw to cut the vines, you can just punch at them with other weapons, such as the shotgun or the other gun. Because what happens sometimes with the chainsaw animation is that the enemies will just shoot you while you're doing that. But there is a rather close checkpoint to this part. But just be careful as you enter this fight, just because of the fact that you're completely vulnerable as you open these. And then when you come in here, there's about 4 grubs, but they're mostly focused. Like half of their attention, I should say, is focused on Carmine, so it's not that hard to clear them. Now, in this part, there are two gashes that spawn, and I'm using the word gash interchangeably with the word e-hole, because they're not e-holes, they're not circular, they're just gashes in the ground. One is up and to the left, and then there's one over to the right. I tried grenade tagging by them. And it's interesting because the grenades that you tag over here, if you tag any before the cutscene, the game will remember where you had the grenades, and that normally never happens. You know, when a cutscene happens, your grenades will disappear. If you die, of course they're going to disappear. But I tried many times to seal the holes the moment. Oh, not holes, but sorry. The gashes. I'm just going to be calling them gashes. I tried to seal the gashes by setting grenades right next to them. But what happens is the game just doesn't let you put them down near where the site of the gash is beforehand. So even if you know where they're going to spawn, the game just doesn't let you put them anywhere around where they would be able to seal with the, and then you know, trivialize this fight, not have to do it. Now, I did throw those grenades fast enough to have just a couple of grubs left. I don't believe that even if you could seal those holes with frag grenades that you set down beforehand, and then, you know, go into the cutscene and then trigger the fight and then have the holes or the gashes just seal the moment they spawn. I don't believe that you could do the whole fight that way, because you're always going to have like 1 or 2 enemies that come with the fight that aren't spawners from those gashes. And I spent quite a long time trying to just make that fight not a fight, but it just didn't work. So down here, this is probably one of the biggest fights in the game. Actually, I would rank it as one of the biggest fights. It's not too bad. When you come down here, there are some grenades. There's 2 over here, and then you're going to want to pick a spot where you can employ the third-person cover trick. During this fight, Reavers will fly overhead, but they will never kill you. You'll see some in the next chapter too. Reavers just flying overhead. It's just a scare tactic. You never die from it. But they will come. I think normally they come at the beginning of the fight and near the end of the fight. You saw some of the explosions of a Reaver just now. I'm sticking behind this capsule here. Dom is currently next to me, but he'll move. And I'm using the hammer burst so that I can zoom in a little bit and get a better line of sight on these enemies. And I always forget to mention this, but now I want to remember it and say it, because when the Ultimate Edition was coming out, Cliff Bleszinski was tweeting quite a bit on his Twitter account, and one of the things that he mentioned was that the last bullet in your clip does 50% more damage, or 100% more damage, or I think like double damage, whatever that amounts to. And I don't know if it holds true for this game, but I think he was talking about the first game. However, I think that may have carried over throughout the trilogy. The last bullet doing double damage. So, never sleep on that last bullet, I guess, would be the theme of that. Now, halfway through the fight, you'll see tickers coming in. If you get lucky, they'll stop by the enemies and kill the enemies for you. We have some tickers spawning over here. At the end of the fight, you'll see some boomers walking down from the top left. You'll see the red glow of their boom shots. See them? So there's 2 boomers over there. And then over to the right, you'll see some other enemies spawning, some drones, possibly a grenadier or 2. So you'll want, of course, to take care of the boomers in a reasonably fast fashion. They have a fair amount of HP. I've always given the game credit for the boomers having a fair amount of HP. If your screen shakes, it's because a boom has landed near you. So it's not a Reaver shooting a projectile. It's one of the boomers. So you'll see the screen shake like that, and we'll take their boom shots afterwards, and just use this nice cover, and anywhere you choose to finish off the fight. Your teammates do a good job of helping out too. So when the fight is done, what I would do is I would switch out the hammer burst for the boom shot, and the amount of booms you get for this is just random. So I got 2 and 2, of course, because I get the worst shit every time, of course. And it doesn't matter though, because we'll be getting a lot of ammo everywhere. The red boxes that you'll see give you boom shot ammo too. It's just crazy. But when you come up here, you'll want to get your chainsaw out. I mean your lancer. When you see the wretches coming up from the top right, you'll want to stop and then rev your chainsaw, because there's going to be one wretch that climbs up from the right side, and then you want to just fall back and just treat this as sort of a shooting gallery where the enemies will just come down this narrow path, and you'll just clear them off with the lancer. If they get too close, you can use the melee if you have to. And this game is just so gorgeous. 4K, 60 hertz. It's a shame that the software can't do it 120, but still, it's just mesmerizingly beautiful. Anyway, so there's another vine over here that you need to cut, and there's a lancer right next to it if you want to pick that up for some additional ammo. That is Scattered. I will see you in the next chapter. Please take care.